Welcome to the first episode of Palipod. I am really excited because, of course, it's the first official episode, but also because I have my first guest, and I can't think of a better person to have on for my first guest than my cute mom.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Rula, Tala's mom. I'm Palestinian, and I have Tala, Tia, and AJ.
And Gatsby.
And
Gatsby is our dog.
Yes, I've been married for 30 years.
Mashallah.
I've been in the USA for 30 years. Yeah, and I enjoy having my kids. Proud Palestinian.
Cute. So before we dive into questions, we're just going to do a quick recap. I just started school this week. I am a grad student studying global health. One of the reasons I study that is because I'm a first generation Palestinian. And I'm in the first week of my very last semester of grad school. So it's been kind of crazy and hectic. So I'm really glad that I found the time to come and record today. And I'm really excited that Mom found the time to come and record.
Of course.
Okay, my mom, I got her, so if you don't know, I'm plant-based. Alhamdulillah, a lot of Palestinian food is already very plant-based friendly. This is a big deal, guys, or my mom typically won't eat plant-based foods with me. But we got lunch at Bud's today before the podcast. I don't know if you guys have tried it. Shout out to Bud's. It's really yummy, all vegan sandwiches.
I second that. And I'm not vegan. I'm actually anti-vegetable.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So I'm really excited.
I'm excited.
I'm super excited because I feel like I'm going to learn things about you that I don't already know.
Okay.
And probably hear stories that I haven't heard before. So I think this is really fun. If you guys don't know, so I have, in 2024, one of the things that I added to my regular routine is to take time out of my day and my week to just invest in getting in touch with my culture. And how I've been doing that right now is I've been reading a book that my grandpa wrote on his village, Gufrana, in Palestine, and it's been really beautiful. It's been definitely an experience to read it. I'm almost done with it. But anyway, so I also really like that this podcast also gives me the chance to take time to indulge in my culture and help learn about it further. So I'm really excited.
And I'm very proud because that book is in Arabic. She actually translates and read it and comes ask about the things that she does not understand. So I'm very proud.
I'm sure some people will ask about the book, so I will get... So it's called Gufrana, and it's by Ali Saeed Hamad, if you guys are interested. I'm not sure where you can find it, so I will have to find that out. We are obviously an endangered culture, and it's really important that as we are spread out around the world, that we keep our culture intact, and as we are spread apart, we lose kind of the, I'll say, concentration of the culture. So what I want to start talking about is I'm a first generation. I'm the first to be born outside of the Middle East on either side of my family, like from my mom and my dad. All their ancestors, as far as we know, were born in Palestine. My mom was the first to be born outside of Palestine. She was born in Kuwait. My dad was born in Palestine, and then all my grandparents and everyone above them was born in Palestine. So my mom is the very first generation to be born outside of there, and I'm the first to be born outside of the Middle East. So I feel a lot of pressure as we become more endangered to preserve the culture. And by the time I was old enough to really appreciate that, most of my grandparents had passed away. I have one grandparent left, Teta In'am, and she is living in Amman, Jordan now, so I don't get to see her very much and spend as much time with her as I would like. And she had a stroke. When was that, Mom?
6 or 8 years ago.
That's crazy. I thought it was
I
more
know.
recent. But yeah, she had a stroke that it disabled her speaking abilities. So it is hard to ask her questions now about her life in Palestine. She can't answer them now. So what I'm getting at is I have not gotten the opportunity to really ask my grandparents and learn through them and pass down their stories. So I'm really excited that I don't think I really ask my parents enough about it. But I also hesitate because I know they grew up in Kuwait. They were the first to grow up outside of Palestine. So anyway, I want to ask you, since you were the first born outside of Palestine, did you also, I'm sure you also had similar feelings of feeling like you need to preserve the culture, or because you were surrounded by so many other Palestinian refugee families, you felt like, oh, I'm surrounded by this culture, I'm still immersed in it, and I'm still near. Did you think you guys were going to go back, or what were your feelings about this?
Well, for me personally, growing up, I did not think that we will go back.
Okay.
Of course, there is a part of every Palestinian hoping that we can, but for my parents, they actually, and their parents, they actually thought that they're going back. That was the beginning of this drama to start with, that, oh, just leave your stuff, it's going to be a week and you'll be back. That's why all Palestinians still have their keys to their houses.
I mean, that was what they officially told them when they
exactly,
had
and they
leave.
left everything, and they just never came back, of course. So for me, growing up in Kuwait, we had a lot of Palestinian areas that 90% of the population was Palestinians. So I felt that, yes, the culture is still there, everything. You see everybody doing the same things. You go to their houses and it's the same ideas, the same, even the same decorations and the same. It's like like Palestine is stamped inside every Palestinian. You can see that in the way they live, the way they react, the way they dress. We're all similar in a way, and we had some Egyptians, Syrians, Lebanese living among us. And that's how, when you see them, you feel that, okay, no, Palestinians are keeping the culture, because that's when you sense the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not just living outside of your country and we're all in Kuwait, so we're all similar. It wasn't like that. So, but it was a nice blend where you take some of the other cultures, and you know, they got affected by us for sure, because we were a lot. They were
still
all
now
surrounded.
There's a lot, yeah.
And even in schools, like most of the classroom is Palestinians, are Palestinians. Yeah, and that's the foreigner in me.
It is R. You got it. You figured it out. Yeah.
So basically, interacting with the other kids from other countries, kind of, they got affected by us. We learned some things from them. It was good. We did not feel that we were missing out, because again, we did not live the change. Our parents and their parents, they went through that transition. You feel the difference most when you actually feel the change, when you change your environment, your work, your life, your everything. That's when it affects you. But when you're born there, to you, that's the norm.
Since you were the first generation born outside of Palestine, do you feel like from a young age you were aware of that, or you didn't, like for me, I wasn't super, like I mentioned, appreciative of my culture and that, hey, you know, I'm being raised somewhere else until I was older.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like from a young age you thought about that or no?
Yes. See, it's not something, especially that we are the first generation, so it's basically something still fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now, second, third generations born in the Middle East but outside of Palestine, maybe it's not as much, but for me, it was a very common topic that we talk about. Everybody talk about it because, and a lot of the Palestinians were not allowed to go back and visit.
Right.
My dad
still
was.
Aren't.
My dad was one of them because he was active politically.
Yeah.
So he was not, his name was not allowed to.
So I want to, sorry to interrupt, I just want to say, I am going to make the assumption that most of my viewers are people that are already interested in this topic and already decently educated on this topic. But I also invite people who just want to learn more to listen. So I just want to give some background information on things that might not be clear to people who are not very versed in this topic. So my mom's example, they will not allow, like the reason that some Palestinians cannot go back is basically the new Israeli government is very, we'll say they're a helicopter parent, where if you criticize them publicly, then if they can find any proof that you are conspiring against them and their current actions,
even if they don't, if they can find
proof,
any reason, whether they don't have to prove it,
they'll
anybody,
make it up. Yeah,
they
it
can
doesn't
make
matter.
up things and put your name for people who are not allowed to go in there.
Yes, but if you are outspoken, unfortunately, they could easily find this information, for example. And anyone who's outspoken on the injustices, they give them a very hard time about entering or won't let them enter. So that's just what that is about. So the people that are doing, that are very outspoken, both of my grandpas were actually very outspoken with organizations on activism on this topic. The occupation targets them and it's a form of silencing so that they can continue their injustices. Okay, so I'm enjoying hearing about this. I'm embarrassed to say how little I know about my mom's life in Kuwait. It's not something we really talk about. It's not something I really know about. I don't know why we don't really talk about it. I think we're just busy, like, with our lives. I don't know. But, so it sounds like, even though you guys are not Kuwaiti, it sounds like Kuwaitis were very welcoming to the Palestinian families. Like, was there any tension with all the new coming refugee families, or it was like a good casual? But I know that you weren't there right when it happened. So, do you know what year your family moved to Kuwait? Was it in the Nakba in 1948?
No. I know that my dad finished his school in, I think, Tul Kerem, before he managed to go to Kuwait. I have a book, actually, that my dad, like, I had my mom and my dad answer all these questions.
No way. Why have you never told me this?
Because I can't find it, and I feel so bad that I can't find it.
Could someone else have it?
No.
You have it? Why did you get it of all the siblings?
I got it. Well, because they came to visit me every time I had one of you, and in the summer, and I decided
we have to find it.
And I decided that.
What was the last house you remember it being in?
No, I've seen it in this one.
Oh, thank God.
So anyway, he finished part of his schools, and then he got a job. So he moved to Kuwait, and there he got his bachelor's degree online.
Nice. What did he get it in? I know he was a teacher.
Math.
Okay.
He was a math extremist.
Okay. Yeah. If you guys don't know, both of my it's crazy. My mom's family and my dad's family are crazy similar. It must just be a Palestinian thing. I don't know. But both my grandpas were math teachers. Teaching, though, was a very common profession post the Nakba. If you don't know what the Nakba is, it was in 1948 when they established the quote-unquote state of Israel. In order to establish it and bring in all those settlers, they had to forcibly remove the current residents from their homes to make space for them. And so about 750,000 indigenous Palestinians were forced to evacuate their homes and their villages. And Nakba is Arabic for the catastrophe. But anyway, because so then many of these people that had to leave, their education was interrupted. So then many civilians felt really moved to help them continue their education. A lot of them pursued teaching to help in whether it was in the refugee camps or in the new, wherever they had to go. So many of them took up teaching to help compensate for that pause in education.
Yeah, actually, all 4 of your grandparents taught.
I didn't know tetas taught. I thought it was just Sido and Sido.
No, both tetas, there was...
Sorry, Sido and teta means grandpa and grandma, if you didn't figure it out.
Both tetas, they actually taught in the refugees schools because the United Nations created schooling system for the Palestinians that were moving out, and a lot of women worked there to teach. So he had to work and finish school at the same time to support his family.
Right.
So he was teaching. Now, as far as that question, if you asked me if I felt if Kuwaitis were welcoming.
Yeah, like I know you didn't go, right at 1948 during the Nakba, but did you ever feel like an outsider? Was it very cohesive? Were they resentful that there were all these Palestinians coming in? Were they empathetic? Like, I've always been curious about that.
I want to say that the oldest
Based
generation, which is older than my dad, were very accommodating, very respectful. They appreciated the Palestinians because the education system in Kuwait was extremely weak until Palestinians took over. But of course you can totally feel at work if you're not Kuwaiti, you don't get the same advantages, not the same salary, not the same anything. They have way more benefits than we did, even if we're doing the same
even
thing.
If you're citizens.
No
like
one
was it
very few Palestinians managed to get the citizenship. We all stayed as Palestinians.
That makes sense.
It was not something that you can do even if you want to. Like
interesting.
It was a very special cases that they managed to get that. But as me growing up there, our schools was different than Kuwaiti schools. Our living areas, we did not interact with Kuwaitis that much. So me as Rula, I did not feel it, especially that I did not work in Kuwait. I went to Egypt to go to school, and the Gulf crisis happened when Saddam Hussein went and invaded Kuwait, and I never got back. So
when you went to uni in Masr, Egypt, you left planning to come back to Kuwait, and then it happened while you were at uni, and you moved back to a different country.
To Jordan.
Right. But so you planned on, like, when you had left to uni, you were planning to go back to Kuwait
of course.
after.
That's where
I didn't know that.
That's where my family is. And but with everything happened, everyone moved to Jordan. So I had to go and finish school in Jordan instead.
Because you are what number? So my mother is one of 7 siblings. What? And you are number 4. Okay.
Like, I'm the middle one.
Yeah, I know you're one of the middle. Okay.
No, I'm not actually. I'm the middle one.
I feel like you're middle low. But so I would assume, like, maybe,
I have 4 and 2. So I'm number 3.
Okay. I also want to ask about your necklace. I haven't seen it before. Is it new?
No, I got it from Jordan when I got that. It's
I
the
haven't seen
kufiya,
it.
and
Yeah,
it
that's
says
cute.
Palestine.
Yeah,
If you guys want to see it.
it's really cute.
Yeah, I got a lot of Palestinian like stuff like kufiyas and necklaces, rings,
She got
and
us
stuff from
customized
Jordan.
kufiyas.
Yeah, they have some really nice stuff, and it's the least that we can do to kind of announce our identity, since we're losing every way possible of the freedom of expressing who we are, and it seems like a sin to say that you're Palestinian. But I'm very glad that the newer generation is way more outspoken than we were. They're more informed. They do their research, and I'm very proud of them. And I'm very proud of you for doing this.
Something I want to talk about is something I really admire about my mom is she is very active with the activism surrounding Palestine. Yeah, so she's incredibly active with her activism whenever there is a protest or any other kind of awareness event. I feel like my mom drops everything and goes. If you attend these events, I'm sure you have seen her, maybe you have met her. She's always there, and I just applaud how, it's a given, and obviously we are Palestinian. It's a given that we're very passionate about this and that it affects us deeply, but I'm still really amazed. Even if it's a snowstorm, my mom is always there. She's always happy to go. You might also see our dog there with her, the Palestine dog in his kufiya.
Yep.
But I just want to applaud you that my mom keeps surprising me with all the ways that she gets involved, and she's a great role model for activism and humanitarian issues.
And actually, I went in a walk in Orange County when I was there.
Yeah, my mom just went for the holidays. Every year we go to California. It's a tradition. Shout out our California fam. We love you. And I didn't get to go this year, but yeah, I had to work New Year's Eve and New Year's were my designated holidays this year, so I wasn't able to join. But my mother was there. If we actually used to live in Orange County, and yeah, do you want to tell us about the walk you did? Was it a protest or?
It was actually, the nice thing is in Orange County, they do weekly every Sunday. They go in Irvine and they put all these posters and they just walk. They keep crossing a big traffic light with all the signs and everybody's chat. So one of my friends sent that, sorry for the short notice, in 2 hours there's one. Even if you can go show up for 10 minutes, half an hour, it would be great.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, I loved
and
the
I
photos.
encouraged our friends and we went together, so it was great. It felt great.
And I feel like there's such a larger Arab population obviously there, so I think it feels more maybe a more community feel. I will say though, we've had some really incredible numbers showing up. What one was it? There was one that was impressive. So popular here.
Yeah, it was over 2,000 people, I think.
That was really beautiful to see. I'm going to start a tradition. At the end of each episode, we're going to wrap it up with a piece of Palestinian culture so that we can help spread Palestinian culture and keep it alive. So it'll be things like maybe specific words that Palestinians use, or maybe fun facts.
We can talk about the kufiya, what it means.
Today's Palestinian piece of culture is the kufiya, If you don't know what the kufiyya is, I wish I had one on. Oh, actually, it's on Mom's necklace.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's... Hold on. So it's like the Palestinian...
I'm sure that the
we'll
world
call it a
knows what
scarf.
this is.
I mean,
What is
there's
it
still
right
a lot
now?
of people who don't know. Yeah, so the kufiyya is... Different countries have them in different colors and different prints. The Palestinian one is traditionally black and white, and the prints have very specific meanings. One is the olive branches, and one is the fishing nets because it's on the Mediterranean. It's a form of sustenance. But yeah, essentially even the pattern has significance. Yeah, so that is our tidbit of Palestinian culture, and you can wear... So kufiyyas are something like I've been wearing since I was young. Most Palestinians have them. We wear them all the time. They also serve a functional purpose. It's really common desert wear, and it's a way to keep, the sand out of your eyes, mouth, ears. And it can serve as, layers or cooling. Like it is made for desert wear. You will see similar things by desert indigenous people globally, but that specific color and print is the Palestinian one. And you can wear them as a sign of solidarity too. It's really common now that people are purchasing them and wearing them as a sign of camaraderie to show support for the Palestinian cause. Okay, and with that, that is the end of episode 1. Thank you, Mom, for coming and taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Actually, it meant a lot to me that you wanted me to be your first guest.
Yeah, I think that's really special. I'm really glad. And I just want to thank you guys for listening and watching. And yeah, as always, if you have like specific questions that you're really interested in hearing about, let us know. If you want to sponsor us, let us know. I would love to have goodies for my guests or do more elaborate podcasts. Okay, and as always, free Palestine.
Free Palestine.